Most men think love is proven by words. A text message, a compliment, a simple, "I miss you." But the truth is, a woman reveals her deepest feelings in a very different way. Not through grand gestures but through the things she chooses to share. And the things she keeps hidden. And here's the uncomfortable question. Are you the man she truly trusts? Or are you simply someone she enjoys having around? Because there is a huge difference. A woman can spend time with a man, laugh with him, even care about him, and still keep the most important parts of herself locked away. But when she genuinely loves a man, something changes. Her walls lower. Her thoughts become more open. And without even realizing it, she begins to share 5 very specific things that she never reveals to just anyone. These aren't random signs. They are quiet psychological clues that reveal where you truly stand in her heart. Stay with me until the end because the final sign is the one most men completely miss. And once you understand it, you'll never again have to guess whether a woman sees you as an option or as the man she trusts with her inner world. Let's begin with the first thing a woman shares only when her feelings are real. And it has nothing to do with romance, beauty, or physical attraction. The first thing she may share with you is something most people spend their entire lives trying to hide. Her unfiltered fears. Think about that for a moment. Most people know how to present a version of themselves that looks strong. A woman may appear confident, independent, and completely in control when she is around others. She knows how to smile when something is bothering her. She knows how to say, "I'm fine," even when she isn't. But with a man she genuinely trusts, that performance can slowly disappear. She may tell you about the things she worries about when nobody else is around. She might admit that she's afraid of getting hurt again, that she sometimes doubts herself, or that certain experiences from her past still affect the way she thinks today. Maybe she tells you about a decision she's terrified of making. Maybe she admits that she doesn't always feel as strong as she appears. And understand what that really means. She's not necessarily looking for you to solve these problems. She's allowing you to see the part of her that she normally protects from the world. That's a very different kind of intimacy. When someone gives you that level of honesty, your first instinct might be to offer solutions. You may want to tell her what she should do, explain why she shouldn't worry, or convince her that everything will be fine. But sometimes that's not what she needs from you. She needs to know that she can tell you the truth without being judged for it. So don't turn her vulnerability into ammunition later. Don't bring up something she confessed during an argument just because you know it will hurt. Don't laugh at a fear simply because it seems irrational to you. Remember this. What she tells you in a vulnerable moment is not information to use against her. It's trust being placed in your hands. And when you handle that trust with calmness instead of judgment, something important happens. She begins to associate your presence with emotional safety. That's when the relationship starts moving beyond simple attraction. Because attraction can make someone want to be near you. But emotional safety is what makes someone feel comfortable enough to reveal who they really are. And there is another layer to this. Once a woman feels safe enough to reveal her fears, she may eventually begin opening another door. The one that leads into her past. And that's where things become even more revealing. Because when she starts telling you about the parts of her history that aren't flattering, convenient, or easy to explain, she's giving you something far more valuable than a romantic story. She's giving you context for the woman standing in front of you today. When a woman begins telling you about her past, pay attention to what she chooses to reveal. I'm not talking about casual stories from childhood or the harmless memories she shares with everyone. I'm talking about the parts of her history that carry some emotional weight. The relationship that ended badly. The mistake she wishes she could undo. The decision she made years ago that still bothers her. The experience that changed the way she trusts people. Most people don't tell those stories to just anyone. We all have a version of our past that we are comfortable showing the world. The polished version. The funny stories. The memories that make us look good. But there is another version, the one that contains regret, disappointment, embarrassment, and lessons we had to learn the hard way. When she willingly lets you see that side of herself, she's doing more than telling you stories. She's giving you the missing pieces. You're beginning to understand why she reacts the way she does, why certain things matter to her, why she becomes cautious in certain situations, or why she sometimes needs reassurance when everything appears fine. And this is where many men make a mistake. They hear about another man from her past and immediately start comparing themselves. Was he better than me? Did she love him more? What did he give her that I can't? That mindset will quietly destroy the very trust she's trying to build with you. Her past isn't a competition you're supposed to win. It's a chapter you weren't present for. You don't need to defeat the men who came before you. You need to understand the woman those experiences helped create. So when she opens up about a painful relationship or a mistake she regrets, resist the temptation to judge her. Don't interrogate her for details just because your ego wants answers. And don't store those details away so you can throw them back at her the next time you're angry. Instead, listen. You can say something as simple as, "I understand why that affected you." That kind of response tells her something powerful. She doesn't have to edit her history to be accepted by you. And when a woman realizes she can tell you the truth about where she's been without losing your respect, another shift can happen. She starts becoming more comfortable talking about where she's going. That's why the next sign is so important. She begins telling you about the future, and you naturally start appearing inside it. Not because she is trying to trap you into a commitment. Not because she's demanding that you promise her the rest of your life tomorrow. Can be much simpler than that. She starts saying things like, "I've always wanted to visit that place. I'd love to do that someday. I think I'd enjoy living somewhere like this." And gradually, you notice that you're no longer listening to a future that exists entirely without you. You become part of the picture. Maybe she talks about a trip she wants to take and asks whether you'd enjoy going there. Maybe she tells you about a lifestyle she's always dreamed about. Maybe she starts discussing family, retirement, travel, or the kind of life she wants to build over the next 10 or 20 years. Don't overlook those conversations. When someone begins imagining the future with you naturally included, it means the relationship has moved beyond what is happening today. She's beginning to ask herself a deeper question. Can this man fit into the life I want to live? And your response matters. Don't immediately become desperate to prove that you're ready for everything she wants. You don't need to abandon your own plans just to match hers. Instead, tell her about the future you're building too. Talk about what matters to you. The places you still want to see. The things you want to accomplish. The kind of life you want to wake up to years from now. Let her see that you're not simply waiting for someone else to give your life direction. You're already building one. Because the strongest connection isn't created when a man blindly follows a woman's vision. It's created when two people discover that the lives they're building can move in the same direction. And there's one more subtle detail to watch for. When she starts asking for your opinion about her future, don't dismiss those questions. She may be telling you about a decision, a place she wants to move, something she wants to accomplish, or a change she's considering. And then she asks, "What do you think?" That isn't necessarily a test. Sometimes it's simply her way of making space for you inside her decision-making process. And when someone voluntarily makes room for your perspective, it tells you something about how seriously they see your presence in their life. But there's still a deeper level of trust beyond sharing the past and imagining the future. Because eventually, a woman may stop trying to look a certain way around you altogether. She may stop performing. She may stop worrying about whether every moment is attractive, impressive, or perfectly controlled. And when that happens, you're getting a glimpse of something far more personal than the image she shows the rest of the world. That is where the next sign becomes impossible to ignore. A woman who feels deeply comfortable with you doesn't always feel the need to look perfect around you. And I'm not talking about whether she wears makeup or dresses up. I'm talking about something much deeper. She no longer feels like she has to perform. Think about the difference. When someone is still trying to impress you, every interaction contains a little bit of effort. She may carefully choose what she says. She may hide certain emotions. She may worry about how she looks when she first wakes up. She may avoid showing you that she's having a bad day, because she doesn't want you to see her differently. But when trust becomes strong enough, that behavior starts changing. You see the woman who doesn't need an audience. You see her laughing at something completely ridiculous. You see her when she's tired after a long day. You see her hair messy, her clothes casual, her mood imperfect. Maybe she cries in front of you. Maybe she gets frustrated and doesn't immediately try to hide it. Maybe she sits beside you in complete silence and doesn't feel the need to fill every second with conversation. Those moments may seem ordinary. They're not. They can tell you that she feels safe enough to stop managing your perception of her. And that's something many men misunderstand. They think intimacy is created by constantly making a woman feel desired. Compliments, attention, romantic gestures, physical affection. Those things can certainly matter. But there is another form of intimacy that happens when a woman no longer feels like she has to earn your approval every minute she's with you. She can simply exist. And your response during these moments matters more than you might realize. If she shows you an insecure side and you make fun of it, she remembers. If she opens up emotionally and you tell her she's being dramatic, she remembers. If she appears without the polished version of herself and you make a careless comment about her appearance, she remembers that too. People don't forget the moments when they felt exposed and unsafe. So don't turn her authenticity into a joke. Don't make her regret showing you the real version of herself. Instead, let her know that she doesn't have to be perfect around you. If she looks exhausted, don't make her feel unattractive. If she becomes emotional, don't immediately tell her to calm down. If she has a difficult day, don't treat her temporary mood as a character flaw. Sometimes the strongest thing a man can communicate is simply, "You don't have to pretend with me." That sentence carries more weight than another compliment ever could. Because when a woman believes she can be completely herself around you, she doesn't have to constantly monitor the relationship. She doesn't have to wonder whether one imperfect moment will make you lose interest. And that creates a very different kind of connection. But there's an important distinction here. Comfort is not the same thing as love. Someone can become comfortable around you because you've been together for a long time. Someone can show you their unfiltered side simply because the relationship has become familiar. So don't take one relaxed moment as absolute proof of deep feelings. Look at the pattern. Does she consistently trust you with parts of herself that she protects from other people? Does she come to you when something matters emotionally? Does she let you see her when she's struggling instead of disappearing whenever life becomes difficult? Does she speak honestly instead of constantly trying to tell you what she thinks you want to hear? That's where the real significance appears. Because the deepest sign isn't simply that she looks comfortable around you. It's that she feels comfortable communicating what's happening inside her. And that brings us to the final sign. There is a difference between a woman who tells you what happened and a woman who tells you what she's feeling while it is happening. The first gives you information. The second gives you access to her inner world. Imagine she has had a difficult day. Instead of becoming distant and expecting you to guess what's wrong, she says, "I'm overwhelmed today and I don't really know why." Or maybe something you said bothered her. Instead of silently collecting resentment, she tells you, "That actually hurt me." Or perhaps she's feeling disconnected from you. Instead of pretending everything is fine until the distance becomes impossible to ignore, she tells you what's happening while there is still a chance to understand each other. That's a completely different level of emotional openness. And it's the final sign most men overlook. This is where the deepest form of trust begins to show itself. A woman who feels emotionally safe with you doesn't just tell you what happened in her life. She starts telling you what is happening inside her. And there's a major difference between the two. Anyone can tell you a story after the fact. But emotional transparency happens in real time. When she's upset, she can tell you why. When she's overwhelmed, she doesn't simply disappear and expect you to figure it out. When something you've said hurts her, she gives you the chance to understand it. And when she feels distant, she can explain what's happening instead of leaving you to create your own story about her silence. That doesn't mean she will communicate perfectly every single time. She's human. She may still need space. She may struggle to find the right words. She may occasionally shut down before she realizes what's happening. The difference is that she eventually tries to bring you into the conversation. She doesn't make you constantly play detective. And this is one of the clearest signs that a relationship has moved beyond surface-level attraction. Because physical attraction can make two people want each other. Compatibility can make them enjoy spending time together. But emotional transparency allows two people to actually understand one another. Think about what happens when she says, "I'm feeling disconnected today." A man who reacts from his ego might immediately hear, "She doesn't love me anymore. She's losing interest. What did I do wrong?" And suddenly, her attempt at honesty becomes an argument. But a grounded man hears something different. He hears an invitation to understand. He might simply say, "I understand. If you want to talk about it, I'm here." That's not weakness. That's emotional control. You're not agreeing that everything is your fault. You're not begging her to reassure you. You're not chasing her around the room demanding an explanation. You're simply showing her that honesty doesn't automatically create punishment. And that matters. Because people become more honest in environments where honesty feels safe. If every difficult emotion turns into a fight, eventually people stop bringing those emotions to the relationship. They become quiet. They withdraw. They start processing everything alone. And once that happens, emotional distance can grow even while the relationship still looks perfectly normal from the outside. That's why you should never punish someone simply for telling you how they feel. If she says she's hurt, listen before defending yourself. If she says she needs some space, don't automatically interpret it as rejection. If she tells you that something in the relationship has been bothering her, don't focus only on proving that she's wrong. First, understand what she's actually trying to communicate. You can disagree with someone's interpretation and still respect their feelings. That's a distinction mature relationships require. And here's something else you should remember. The goal isn't to become the man she tells absolutely everything to every second of the day. Healthy intimacy still needs boundaries. She can have private thoughts. She can have friendships. She can need time alone. She can process certain emotions before talking about them. Real trust isn't about removing every boundary. It's about knowing that when something truly matters, she doesn't feel compelled to hide it from you. That's the difference between privacy and emotional secrecy. And when a woman consistently chooses honesty over hiding, something powerful begins to happen. You stop having to guess. You stop analyzing every text message. You stop wondering why her tone changed. You stop trying to decode every moment of silence. Because she's giving you context. She's letting you understand the person behind the behavior. And that is what makes emotional intimacy so powerful. Now look back at all 5 signs. First, she trusts you with the fears she normally keeps hidden. Then she trusts you with the difficult parts of her past. Then she begins imagining a future where you naturally belong. Then she becomes comfortable enough to stop performing and simply be herself. And finally, she lets you see what's happening inside her while it's happening. Notice the progression. She isn't simply giving you more information. She's giving you deeper access to who she is. And that's the real lesson here. Don't measure a woman's feelings only by how often she texts you, how affectionate she is, or how intensely she looks at you. Pay attention to what she trusts you with. Because love doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it appears quietly in a confession made late at night. Sometimes it's a story about her past that she has never felt comfortable telling anyone. Sometimes it's a future plan where she naturally assumes you'll be there. Sometimes it's the moment she sits beside you without makeup, without a perfect mood, without pretending to have everything figured out. And sometimes it's simply her saying, "This is what I'm feeling right now." Those moments matter. But don't rush them. You cannot force emotional intimacy by demanding that a woman open up faster than she's ready to. You cannot manipulate vulnerability out of someone. And you certainly cannot build trust by pretending to be emotionally stable while secretly reacting from insecurity. The strongest thing you can do is become the kind of man who can handle honesty without immediately turning it into a threat to his ego. Listen. Stay grounded. Protect what she shares with you. And give her the freedom to be honest without fearing that every vulnerable moment will later be used against her. Because when a woman learns that she can be completely real with you and still be respected, something changes. She doesn't have to spend as much energy protecting herself from you. She can spend that energy building something with you. And that is far more meaningful than simply being the man she wants to impress. It's being the man she feels safe enough to reveal herself to. That's the kind of connection that isn't built overnight. And it's the kind of connection that is very difficult to replace. If this gave you a different way to look at the woman in your life, don't just move on to the next video. Take a moment and think about which of these 5 things she actually shares with you. Not what you hope she shares. Not what you want to believe. What does she consistently show you? Because the answer may tell you far more about where you stand than any romantic words ever could. And if you want to understand the quieter psychological signals women give when their feelings are changing, watch the video appearing on your screen now. It may help you notice something you've been overlooking this entire time. Take care of yourself, stay grounded, and remember, real connection isn't about chasing someone's attention. It's about becoming someone they feel safe enough to be completely honest with. God bless.